All right, guys, we are now back, and I have lovely Zac from Frontier Developments. Hello, Zac.
Hello, chat.
Very nice to have you here. Thank you for being here. I think I need to, hang on, I'm gonna put my game a little bit quieter because I think it's a bit too loud. Thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to do this in your own time. And thank you for donating these beautiful, unique paint jobs for our giveaway, because that's, you know, that's...
Your chat is saying they can't see us, rootsrat.
They can't see us?
Apparently not. I mean, maybe it's better this way.
Maybe. I'm gonna think. Let me just do some chicory puckery here. Let's have a look. US break screen. Oh crap! Sorry. Like I said, I don't have my macro keys. I do apologize, guys. This is, yeah, that's probably better now. This is better. So what are we going to do with Zac? We are going to one of the settlements, and the way it's going to work, Zac will try to hunt me down, and every time he kills me, I will donate 10% of this month's subscriptions from you guys into SpecialEffect, obviously. And in the meantime, I will be asking Zac some questions about Elite Dangerous and other things as well. So we will be both under pressure. And
I don't feel any pressure.
I'm stressed like hell. So let's start. While I go there, I don't have to pay attention to you trying to hunt me down. First question for you, Zac. Did you know and play Elite before joining the CM team at Frontier Developments?
Yeah. So I discovered Elite when I was at university, which is probably at this point a scarily long time, like 5-6 years ago, maybe I discovered Elite. I basically discovered it because I was seeing news about things like Colonia and things like the community goals. I think the community goals were actually what drew me to the game, because I hadn't seen many other games that do stuff like that, where you you have to band together as a player base to actually achieve something.
All right, yeah.
Get rewarded for that. So I was in at that point. That's when I decided to join the bandwagon, and then since then I've been playing on and off, and then obviously when I joined last December, I've been playing a healthy amount.
Nice one, that's good. So did you play any other game, any of the previous games from the series?
I've not played any of the other Elite games except for Dangerous.
Okay. So next question I have for you is that one of the recurring trends in the community feedback throughout years was always communication between Frontier and the Elite player base. This aspect has massively actually improved in the recent months, which good. That's great. It's really good to see. We have now the monthly developer updates, where I think the next one is coming up sometime soon.
Yep, next week.
Oh, next week. Excellent. That's great to hear. I've actually been finding these developer updates really good, and they're really informative. We have increased activity and interaction on the forums, especially from Sally, but you as well, and other members of the team as well. I love your replies to some of the more snarky members of the forums. Like, I must say, this reminds me a lot of Mike Evans, but we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. We have the top 20 issues thread now, which is also great to see. Yeah. We have the new series of live streams, community spotlights, and so on. All of these are great changes and improvements, and it's really, really good to see them. And I'm sure lots of people appreciate those as well. But is there anything else? I know it's already a lot, but I just wanted to ask, is there anything else planned in this department? And if so, are you able to share any deals?
I guess the main focus at the minute is making sure that what we have started, we do it perfectly. So, for example, the issue table, we got some good feedback from that the first time we did it, which will apply next time, etc. There's a few other bits and pieces we want to do like that. But I guess in terms of new stuff, we still want to start doing a lot more streams with developers on them, where we can ask them about features and etc. things they worked on within the game. So I think that's probably. Realistically, that's probably next in line for the things that we're going to get around to. But I can't really give a timescale on that. But that's as in, I guess for our team, that's the next thing that we want to do.
Okay, that sounds great. Is this going to be part of the ongoing Discovery Scanner series, or is it going to be something new? Because I know that in the past we've seen the Discovery Scanner live stream series, and these were actually really good as well. I can tell you, like this, seeing the developers on those streams, not only developers, but people from like the audio team and graphic designers and all those sort of people. It was really good to see, because you can see the passion behind what's going on behind the scenes, and that's, I think, that me personally, that gives me a lot of sort of like good feeling about the game. And I can definitely tell the people that do this game, actually, create it, there is a lot of passion going on. I remember the stream with I think it was Matthew Florian from the audio team, and he was describing for 1 hour, he was talking about how he's created. I'm in the settlement now, by the way, so
I'm on the way. Don't worry. Are we starting?
Yeah. I'm already here trying to hide from you. So I remember that Matthew talked for 1 hour about creating the sound effect for breaking up the asteroid with the explosives.
Yep.
And I think that was one of the greatest highlights of Discovery Scanner series for me, because to see a guy talk for 1 hour about creating a single sound effect, with such a passion, it was absolutely mental for me. So, hopefully we'll see some more of that sort of stuff.
Yep. It will, like, to answer your first question, the plan at the minute is for it to fall under like the Discovery Scanner name, which would make sense, I think, at this point. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. I like that kind of stuff, and everyone else at the team does as well. So it is a case of figuring out what we want to share and talk about first in terms of sort of deep dives into features, and then going from there. Yeah,
I guess you need to plan everything. And there is. I guess you can't just randomly grab the first developer that's free and not doing anything. Go, you go on the stream and talk to us. So I appreciate that. Probably some planning needs to go into this. Okay, nice one. Moving on then, there is no denying that Elite has an absolutely amazing community, and I've experienced a lot of great stuff from the guys from the community over the last 6 years. I've actually created some events myself as well, and it's great to see the people getting involved in stuff. And I think I've never seen any other game community being so creative in terms of, in the context of like the sandbox aspect of the game, because Elite gives you like this absolute freedom in whatever in what you can do. And I think that's, for me personally, that's one of the greatest perks of this game, that you can actually do whatever you want, and the game gives you freedom to actually do that.
Sure.
I know that you at Frontier, because you've been many times. There we go, the first kill. 10%, guys. Can one of my moderators please kill the frags? Count the frags, obviously, because I won't be able to keep up probably. So I know that you guys appreciate this a lot, because you've talked about this many times as well. Can you tell us, like, from your point of view, personally, which of some of the recent community projects has made you sort of go wow the most?
Well, when you ask me this, there's so many of them that it's like, I know this is a sort of cop-out answer. I do actually have a few to shout out, don't worry, but there's so many of them that it's impossible to pick. I mean, I really like seeing the expeditions. I really like when I get those mass jump videos sent my way. Like, they're my favorite thing ever. They're impressive,
aren't they? It's just something about them, like seeing so many ships jump all together. It's just, oh wow, yeah, definitely.
And then I guess also recently, I liked that the Anti-Xeno initiative put together a sort of research campaign to try and figure out, a signal, whether a signal, what type of interceptor might spawn a certain signal, etc. I'm not saying it was true or it was false. I'm just saying that I like the idea of that. That sort of research that, a lot of different groups do that kind of thing, where they really, take the science of the game seriously and figure out, how can we deliver this research that we've done to the player base who might not necessarily want to do that. I mean, it's really it's really cool.
It's definitely great to see this sort of things. I remember, I think for me again, the greatest like event of this sort, like figuring out the science behind the game, was when you guys added this audiogram, spectrogram in the audio sound of the unknown probe, I think it was, or was it unknown artifact at the time? And it took people ages. Like, I mean, to put that in the game and to expect people to extract an audio from the game and then put it through some audio editing tools.
They always will.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's and that's great to hear as well. It's just, and that's like I talked about the passion from the developer side before, but I think the passion goes definitely both ways, and things like this really show this, that the player base is willing to go through. I don't want to say trouble, because for them it's probably fun, for the people who know how to do that and to and who have the will and the willingness and the tools and the expertise to actually do that. I think it's just amazing, and the synergy between the developers and the player base in this respect is absolutely great. I love to see stuff like that as well.
Yeah, the narrative team do, like, for example, another thing I noted down was actually the first Azimuth puzzle that happened a few months back, where basically we found the dredger. That was a really, really cool event to follow the players and see how they went piece by piece and discovered the final checkpoint. I mean, that sort of stuff intrigues me. It was a Saturday when it was happening. I was just glued to my computer, like just keeping an eye on the Discords and the forums and seeing what progress people were making in terms of how far they were getting. It was great. Yeah, definitely.
We actually did it live on stream as well. I did it with my community here, live on stream, and it took us ages to figure. I mean, the first part when the mega ship, the ghost ship. It was the Halloween event, so we did that part. It was great, but then when you find these clues and when you actually follow them up and when you make the discovery, the feeling of discovering something at the very end of this long trail of clues is just so amazing. So from my side, I hope we're gonna get most of that. More of these kind of events, because they are something that. I think they keep the game alive most. For me personally, obviously, I can only speak for myself. But I love lore. I've not played the first Elite, but I've played Frontier Elite 2, and I've played Frontier First Encounters. And Elite lore was always something that dragged me the most to this game. So I just love to see stuff like that being in the game. Yep,
I mean that is 100%. It's not going to go away. If we have anything to do about it, it's going to carry on for sure.
Do you actually have the storyline plan? Because I know that some time ago when you've been announcing Galnet coming back and the events from Galnet being actually present in the game, you've said you've got a storyline written for I think 2 years or something. Is this continuing then? Is this being written further then?
Yes.
Cool, that's great to hear. Okay, let's go to the next question. Obviously, I don't want any details because I realize you probably cannot share them. But it's just good to know that this hasn't stopped, if you like.
No, for sure, absolutely not.
All right, next question then. Let's do some quick favorites of yours in Elite. Yep. So you don't know what these are because I've sent you all the questions, but I've not sent you this coming.
You're gonna catch me out
now. Well, I'm gonna try to catch you, but hopefully. You'll be under some pressure. Let me just give it a couple of minutes. I'm just arriving at Robert's workshop now. Yeah, so I want you to be under some pressure while you hunt me.
Okay. You got someone in the chat, Lennox, saying you're almost at the 3rd tier, which is ridiculous.
Is it?
Amazing.
I'm already at third tier. Let me just... Oh.
Almost, apparently.
Let me refresh the page here. Let's have a look. £283, guys. This is good. This is crazy. This is just amazing. I'm going to put some music in the background, just some slight music, so we can have some filler. This is great. Thank you very much to all of you on behalf of SpecialEffect. This money will definitely make lots of disabled people happy, and they will, it will allow them to connect and to use the equipment. My favorite story from SpecialEffect, I will tell you my favorite story from SpecialEffect because this is one that impresses me the most. There was this guy, I have a video of him. It's probably during the break times. This video is gonna play on loop, so hopefully it's gonna play this one will play out as well. But this guy, he was studying PhD. He was doing PhD from maths, and he had an accident on a bicycle. A Land Rover drove into him. So broken spine. He cannot move any of his body, just his head. And what SpecialEffect did for him, they designed a system called Stargaze, which allowed him to control computer with his eyes only. And, so he was able to work on his PhD this way after they helped him. I don't know if I hope that he's managed to actually do the PhD. I don't know. I might ask SpecialEffect guys for this, because I'm really interested in what's happened next, sort of a thing. But just imagine if you're in this situation, how the feeling of like depression and how lost you must be and how hopeless. And then these guys come to you and they say, well, we can do something for you that will actually allow you to continue while communicating with the people in the first place, going on internet and then writing up your PhD. It must be just
amazing.
So, stories like this really move me. And they make me want to do live streams like this, definitely.
Yeah, totally understand.
So let's have a look what... Okay, so we already have tier 1. There is any game from the list to choose. We have, for second tier, we have any 2 games from the list to choose. And then we have also the first of the unique music CDs from the Willow Tree. Once we reach tier 3, we'll have the beautiful Hussars calendar. I'm actually going to show it to you quickly. I've got them here. So this is the one from the last year, I think. Let me maybe...
I think I've seen this.
Just do this. Look at this, guys. You will be able to win this. This is actually one. This is one from 2306, which is the last year's. We have the one for this year as well. This is produced by the Winged Hussars, my community from Elite Dangerous, and we make like a competition for the best screenshots from the game, and then we make them into this beautiful calendar. There is English version as well, obviously. You will be able to choose whether you want Polish version or English version, but you will be able to win this beautiful calendar. I have 5 of those to give away as well for the current year, 3307. So that's coming up soon, as long as we reach tier 3. All right, let's get back to this. Then people tell me to increase the volume on you, Zac. Let me just see if I can.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put you on 200% now.
Nice and loud.
Nice and loud. All right, let's get back to this then. So, favorite things in Elite. Let's go. I'm here, so you can try hunting me down. Now, your favorite ship?
Great Phantom.
Great Phantom. Why?
Mostly the design. I also believe it's really nice for exploration, which is what I tend to do most. So it works really nicely for that. So those 2 combined.
Nice one. Okay, so since Odysseys came out, do you prefer ship or foot gameplay?
You know what? I'm gonna say foot gameplay, but I still, I don't want to say, oh, I'm only ever gonna do foot gameplay. So, for example, I would prefer to fly my ship places than use the Apex personally.
I see. There are guards here now. Jesus. Run away!
That's my... Have you found me? Have you seen me? I can't even...
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I just saw you, I think.
I think I've hit you. Oh, you weren't there?
No.
Oh, I must have hit the guard. Fair enough. Okay.
The guard's here now.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to a different one maybe, because I've got a few of these restore power missions, so you can find a few.
Oh yeah,
sure.
If you want to head to a different place. Did you die?
Okay. Yes. 2-0. Okay, let's count this in, because that was my mistake, obviously. So let's count this in. Definitely. All right. So next one is your favorite gun from Odyssey.
Anything plasma is my favorite gun.
I did notice actually when you were attacking me earlier.
Yeah.
So which one of the plasma is your favorite one?
This one, the rifle.
The rifle, nice. I've not actually used the rifle. I think I've used the Tormentor, which is the shotgun, and I've used the pistol.
I've seen players say that they don't think this one is too strong of a gun, but I personally have a great time with it, so I'm gonna keep using it.
It's like personal preference. See, I'll tell you what, like, I never play meta because I think, I don't know, I don't enjoy playing something that, oh, you have to play this because it's the best. I mean, Elite is such a diverse game, and it allows you for so many different playstyles and so many approaches to things that...
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Going meta is obviously, like, optimal, probably, but...
I see why PvP players do it, but I mean, if you're just going to be playing, PvE most of the time, just play what you like.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. And then, like, sometimes, like, your personal preference and, like, skill set is not probably sometimes want to be the best for the meta, so you actually may get a better performance with just different setup, which,
Yeah.
So anyway, going forward, the most beautiful place you have ever visited in Elite Dangerous?
Oh, this is a good question. I almost want to say Mitterrand Hollow.
All right, I've never been there actually,
It's not the actual planet itself, and the Earth like that's around it. It's not like it's not spectacular. There's definitely probably better sights in terms of beauty in Elite, but I think in terms of being in one place and feeling the sort of feeling tiny and feeling like the galaxy is this monster. That you're just like one person in. I think Mitterrand Hollow is the best, just because I guess, chat, if you don't know, Mitterrand Hollow is basically a moon, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I believe the moon is the thing that travels really fast, or it might be the Earth. Like,
I think that's correct.
It travels so fast that you almost have to. The moon will catch you before you catch the moon.
Yeah, you can't like follow it. You have to like go again, like solo, like face plan into it or something.
Yeah, you gotta go the other way around.
That's great. I've never actually been. I need to go there.
You should definitely check it out.
Well, I mean, I'm on my main account. I mean, I'm out in the black at the moment, going to Biggle Point. But I've got 3 other accounts, so maybe on some other one.
One of them will do.
Yeah, I think for me, there is a place in Witchhead Nebula. I forgot the name, but it's in Witchhead Nebula. There is one place that has an outpost, but also like an orbital installation as part of the same location.
Yeah.
And I think apart until was the roof of the galaxy, there was a community goal there to bring some alcohol there. Rajham's something.
Racking's Peak.
That's the one. Before this one was added, I think the Witcher one was the only place in the game that actually had an outpost and an installation around it, and it makes for such an interesting location because it's not just like you've seen like millions of outposts out there, but you go to this place and it's something different, and that's why for me it stands out, and it's so great. Right, the next one then. Your favorite ship mission type and your favorite foot mission type.
Well, ship mission type is pretty easy. I just pick up a lot of trading missions. On foot type is actually quite hard for me to choose. I like the sneaky missions on paper.
Yeah.
Problem is, I never achieve them. I always fail them. I like the idea that I can do this mission completely stealthily, but it never actually works that way, to be honest. But in my head, they're my favorite type of missions.
I think for me, the stealth missions are the most challenging, and that's why I like them the most as well from the foot, because the AI is just ruthless. They won't care. They will just decimate you on the slightest, But it makes, like, at first I thought it doesn't really make sense, but then insufficient credits. What? But then I sort of thought, you're commander, part of Elite Pilots Federation, and they must know you're dodgy as hell. So if you do something dodgy, it probably means trouble. So actually, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to just be so ruthless against you.
Yep.
I think I need to sell my ship. I can't sell my ship.
Are you on the newer account?
Yes, I've not played on this account at all.
Yeah.
Let me just. I can sell something else.
That Apex is taking your money.
Yeah, did not expect that to happen, you know.
It's because usually you don't really think about it when you're so far into the game and you have millions of credit.
Yeah, that's it. And when you go to this new account, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and then it turns out you're out of money. I'm gonna sell one of my weapons.
Wow. Okay.
I have a karma to sell. What? Okay, that's good. I didn't even know I had karma weapon to sell. Okay, that's good. I have the funds to get back to the location now. Okay, let's move forward then. So the next one, what is your most and then the least favorite thing about Odyssey?
I think my favorite thing is kind of similar to what I said about Mitter and Hollow, in that it feels more like a sort of living universe. Because you can get out of your ship, it feels a bit more like a sort of living universe at this point, especially when you can just head to a settlement. There's NPCs there. I think it actually makes a ton of difference in terms of your immersion into the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a big deal for me with my game. So I that is probably my favorite aspect. In terms of my least favorite thing, I guess probably the fact that we still have players that are struggling with performance and stuff like that. But that is something that we are working on every day, which is a kind of, I know it feels like a broken record for me to say that because I say that on every stream I'm on. But please trust us, we are working on that. But that obviously it's not what we want.
Yeah, I can imagine, obviously, I know that some people say in the forums, oh, they do it on purpose, but how can you even say something like this,
No, we don't really gain anything from doing that.
Honestly. Anyway, let's not dwell on this. But yeah, thanks for sharing this. This. That's
all right.
It's appreciated that you guys are working on this continuously. I can imagine it must be stressful for you as well when you think internally. Oh, it's because I work for a software development company as well. And, I deal with bugs as well. So I can appreciate when you think, oh yes, it's fixed. Finally, it's fixed, and then you release it, and then the users come back and go, it's actually it's still broken here or there.
That does happen sometimes.
So I can appreciate the frustration on your side as well for this. Moving on, okay, that's an interesting one. If you could change one thing in the whole of Elite Dangerous game, what would it be?
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things that we are working on behind the scenes that I'm, really excited about. And obviously I can't talk about them, I'm afraid. But I think kind of touching on what we mentioned earlier, the one thing that I want to keep happening, and the rest of the team and the rest of the dev team want to keep happening and, make better, is the sort of narrative story stuff. So I think the Azimuth saga that we're doing is our first foray into potentially a new way of approaching this kind of thing. And so, yeah, that's the one thing that, even before I joined Frontier, I was interested in, potentially doing more of. And I know that Galnet went away for a while before Arth came back. So that is 100% the thing that I want to see more of. Some cool narrative within the game.
Excellent. That sounds really good. Like I said, the lore for me and the narrative is something I crave the most as well about Elite. And I think what I always wanted is for Galnet to become more like a TV rather than newspaper, if you know what I mean.
Right. How do you picture that working?
Well, you've got this top right window when you have these nice little graphics, but it's static. If you could have a reporter reporting on the news on there, doing animations, animated, something animated there, or even something, maybe like little animation depicting the story somehow. I don't know, something like. I think that top right static screen could use some life, I think.
Okay, that's good feedback. Yeah, I can see that. I can make a note of that.
I think it would feel more like an actual TV news rather than just newspaper to read. I know we have the what's text to speech thing in Elite is great actually. I love doing that because on the long journeys, especially when you're exploring, you can just queue it up and then it'll just read it for you. It's something, to listen to. But if you had that extra thing just to watch something as well during that would be just amazing, I think.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it would be the immediate sort of trouble with that is there's so much variation between the stories. It would be hard to make constant new things. But I mean, there's probably a way we could do it. But
I can imagine like that's the first thing I thought when I had this sort of idea back in the day. I thought, but then again, there are so many stories, and then you have to do this for every single story. It's probably a lot of work.
It would be some compromise, but I mean, I'll for sure make a note.
Thanks, that's actually good to hear. Thank you. Okay, moving forward then, what do you like doing most in the game? I know you already said trading. And do you play mostly solo or open? Like I mean, in your spare free. Do you actually play Elite in your spare time or?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I play in open almost 100% of the time. I play most. If I'm in the bubble, I'm either trading. I found a nice trade route, and I stick on a podcast or a YouTube video, and I do some trading. Or if I'm in the bubble, I'll take part in the CG if it's something I'm interested in. But if I also like to get in my crate and do some exploration. But I guess my exploration, I'm one of those people that gets real fear of missing out. So I tend not to stay too far because I want to be able to come back if there's something interesting happening.
Well, that's why I have 4 accounts.
So I do a lot of like sightseeing. Potentially, maybe I'm not finding new stuff, but I'm going and checking out places that other players have found that are really cool.
I see. See, I'm completely opposite. When I go on exploration, I want to explore new things. I don't like when I see people when I see the system that's already scanned, I just move on straight away. I don't even care. I just move on straight away. Go to the next one. But I also, at the same time, I will scan every single thing because I remember long time ago. It was long time ago. I think it was even before the Targoids were introduced into the game. One of the developers on one of the live streams, it was still when Ed Lewis was a community manager here, and one of the developers on one of the streams said that there are things in the game that we've put at the release and the players haven't still found them. And I have this quote in my head all of the time, and I just, when you have this one signal on the planet and you're like, it's probably just bacteria. But what if it's that one thing that they put in the game 6 bloody years ago and nobody still found it, and I just have to go and check it out. That's why I went to Beagle like 2 months ago, and I'm only in the first sector. I'm not even moved across the first sector yet because I'm just scanning every single thing. I just can't help it. It's just that fear of, like you say, I have the fear of missing out as well, but in different contexts. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just funny. All right. Right. Now let's talk about the legacy of Mike Evans, shall I say. I love the way you communicate with the player base on the forums. Like, you don't shy away from being direct in some of your replies to some forum members who are a bit, let's say, condescending or too sarcastic, if you like.
I like a bit of sarcasm, but there's a time and place for sure.
Sometimes it's just too much, and it reminds me of the days when Mike Evans used to hang around, and he used to do a very similar thing, and it was just so good to see like a front-end development employee like losing brakes a little bit, if you know what I mean, like not being all I don't want to say, but something like politically correct, if you know what I mean. And you cross that line a little bit, don't cross it, but you're just on the border sometimes, I think, personally, to me. And let's add it, I fully support it. Some people really should think twice before posting something on the forums, and in my opinion, they fully deserve these direct replies. Are you getting any slack from like Arthur about it sometimes? And are you and Sally, because I know Sally is really active on the forums, and everybody loves Sally because she's so hyped about everything always. So are you and Sally sort of like a good cop and a bad cop sort of a thing?
I guess we've never really planned for that to be the case, but it's kind of turned out that way. In terms of Arthur's quite happy with how we manage the forums. I mean, the rule of thumb that we have as a team is, we'll always stay professional, but at the end of the day, we are still humans, and you can stay professional whilst either defending yourself or correcting something, or you know, if someone isn't acting the way that we want somebody in the community in the community to act, we're able to call that out a little bit or have a little bit of fun with the community. I think you can do all those things and have a bit of personality whilst also remaining professional, especially these
Yeah,
days.
definitely, I agree. And by all means, I don't mean or suggest that you're unprofessional. Definitely
No,
not.
no, I don't.
You're like I said, you stay within the borders of professionalism. But at the same time, I just love sometimes, like you don't shy away from being a little bit more direct
No,
with
definitely
people. So, by the way, we are at what's this place called? Pauline. Let's have a
Yeah.
look. Are you there? Is that your
not.
ship?
Well, you should be.
Okay, that's a big ship. Let's have a look.
Just a crate.
Where's the crate? Okay, I'm gonna
find
run.
somewhere to-
I'm just gonna run away already from you. All right, moving on. The next question regarding fleet carriers. I remember that one of the things being specifically mentioned after the release of fleet carriers was that one of the goals of allowing players to trade in goods, so using fleet carriers to be like a trading station, was to introduce another layer of economy, more player-based this time. And I found it really interesting because I'm not that much interested in trading, but I know that a lot of the comments back in the day, at least, they sometimes compare like, oh, in EVE you have player-based economy and it works much better, blah blah blah, and it's completely different game. Obviously, it's more, to me, it's more like a turn-based strategy game, including trading, where the one turn is one day, because you've got the daily BGS tick, and then that's where all the prices update and the stock changes, blah blah blah. So to me, it's more like that. So I think direct economy maybe not the best for the game, but nevertheless, with fleet carriers, you've mentioned that at the time that it was one of the goals was to introduce sort of like a player-based layer of economy. So I don't know if you can share these things or how much you can share on this, but from your internal data, you don't have to give any details, obviously. But do you guys think, in Frontier's opinion, that you are happy with the results? Do you think that this goal was achieved?
I mean, I would say yes. There's definitely an element of some pretty cool player trading that goes on that we see within the game in terms of you can mine and then sell your own stuff at the fleet car. I think it. Oh no, I think it.
Oh yes. Go on.
I think it's. I do think that we could definitely do more with it, but that's another thing that is on our. If we do get around to it, it'll be. It's not going to be something I don't think that happens immediely. You don't put your shield on very much, which makes it a bit easier for me.
Oh, well, that's just me. That's normal for me. I keep forgetting to do this. Thanks for reminding me, though.
That's all right. Makes my life harder now, though I shouldn't have said anything.
It's great to hear, actually, that.
Yeah,
run away.
it is certainly working, but in terms of can it be better? I think we can always make everything better if we want to.
I forgot my
We
keybinds.
should never give up. We should never settle.
Yeah,
Got your
definitely.
keybinds.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played on foot. So I'm out exploring, so I don't really use shield that much. For about two months now. I want to use my medkit, but there it is. Yes. Okay. I got
the
it now.
medkit was used.
Yes. Right. That's good to hear. It's great that you guys still think about these things, and it's not something that you just sort of release and then sort of like be done with it. I know it's not any promise or anything, and let's not treat this as any promise, because obviously, for obvious reasons. But at least it's great to hear that there is some thought being put into that as well. Okay, moving forward, let's talk about Odyssey now a little bit while I'm trying to run away from you. Again, I realize that you probably cannot tell us much about the future of Odyssey. But after you're done with fixing the current issues with the game, the performance and everything, can we expect the current content to be I run straight into you to be expanded a little bit? No details required, obviously, because I realize you probably can't share them. But if there are any plans to build up on the foundations that we have now?
Yes. The best place to see that kind of thing will be the dev updates, where we talk about what we've done in the current update and what's potentially going to be coming in the future. So yeah, yes is the answer.
Great, thank you.
In terms of what that sort of stuff is, just stay tuned to the dev
of course.
updates.
So you can find the updates on the forums, right?
Yeah.
Nice one,
So
thank
on the
you.
forums in the news and bulletins section. You know what? I'm not going to be able to take you down here. Got a
Why?
feeling I can't take your shields down. I think maybe I found my weakness with this.
This gun.
This gun, yeah.
There you go. Let me have my revenge.
Oh no. That was close. The grenade.
Okay, so moving forward, there was an excellent post on the forums lately that summarized the Azimuth Saga story arc for the players that have not been able to experience it in the past. And again, me as a lore lover, it's great to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was really a great read and like good insight into what's currently happening in the game. Are we going to see updates in this thread, or maybe something like a new thread summarizing the follow-ups in the story and the progression in the future? And then, as soon as I turn my lap, oh, I don't have any battery left. And
Yes.
then, hang on, sorry, I'm trying to read my thing.
Uh-oh. I won't take you out while you're reading something.
Yeah, sorry. Oh yes, it's just a follow-up. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, sorry. That was the question. I gave into the pressure. That's my bad. That was the question. Sorry. Are we gonna see some follow-up to this, basically?
Yeah, I mean that was something that Bruce put together. I believe the plan is for that to continue to be updated as and when there is new stuff to do with the Azimuth Saga. Yeah.
That's great. Because I mean, sometimes, like I said, it's good on exploration sometimes to just put on Galnet and listen to it. But there are times that you just don't have time to go through every single article, and summaries like this are just great to catch up and to have like a just sort of high-level understanding of what's actually happening with the stories in game. While on this topic of story and lore, this is something from me personally. Can we have some hope to have more lore details added to Codex? Because I know when Codex was introduced, we've had this the whole knowledge base about all of the corporations and the politicians and the factions and all that sort of stuff. But there were new things added to the game in the meantime, like the new weapon manufacturers, brewer corporation for fleet carriers. It would be just great to see sort of these new additions added to the codex as well. It's just a sort of like a suggestion from me, because it's a little pet peeve of mine, lore and stuff like that. So
I agree. I mean, I like that. I feel like everything should be within the game, or as much as possible should be within the game for you to find. Things like that community calendar that we want to eventually put in. I would love for that to end up being in the game, but at the minute it will just be on a website. In terms of the codex stuff, I mean, the dev team, are aware of players wanting more stuff in the codex, but speaking, completely truthfully, right now it is probably not high on the priority list. For obvious reasons. We've got other things that we want to work on. But I mean, all I can say is that the narrative team and the dev team are aware of that kind of thing for sure.
Okay, nice one. Thanks for this. As long as it's going to be passed to to the dev team. Like I said, if they're already aware, that's even better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I have no more money to come back to you, so I think we'll just have to. You just have to.
We can either just carry on with questions, or I can try and come.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's gonna be easier for me because I can just put this on my main screen now, so I don't have to go to my side screen all of the time. And I realize we'll have like 10 minutes left. So how many times did you game? Like 3 times? But 3 times, right?
Yeah. 3.
I'll make it up to 50. So all right, I'm gonna donate 50% of this month's subs, guys.
Nice.
To SpecialEffect. Thank you, Zac, for killing me. Let's continue the questions because I'm just conscious about the time, and we still have a few from the community as well. Any idea for the patch 7 ETA, even if it's vague?
Next month.
Next month. Okay, excellent.
Yep.
So we will have developers update next week on the forums, and then following that, sometime in September, we'll get patch 7.
Yeah, that's the current plan.
Excellent. It's great to hear as well. Next one is Deluxe Edition of Odyssey should come with the soundtrack for the DLC. And I know I don't think it's been added. I've checked a few days ago on my account on Frontier Store, and it's not still haven't been there. Can we expect it to get it sometime soon?
Well, it should be available via your Frontier account, or if you got it on Steam, it should be in your Steam library. But because we believe we fixed that, but I see when you got this question in, I was like, is it not actually?
Well, I purchased Elite in Frontier Store, not on Steam. I don't have Elite on Steam at all. All of my accounts are purchased directly from your store.
And it's not there.
I think up till now, any extras like that, they were in there is like my downloadable products section directly on your store account, and I couldn't find it there.
Yeah, it should be in your Frontier account, but I guess what I'll do is if it's definitely not in and you've had personal experience, I'll chase it again probably on Tuesday. It's bank holiday.
All right, thanks.
Next week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because we were aware of that, and I think we marked it as fixed because we definitely fixed it on Steam, and I believe we fixed it on Frontier, but I guess potentially not. So yeah, we'll check that.
Yeah, well, I checked like a few days ago, so and it definitely wasn't there at the time. So yeah. All right. Thanks for this. That'd be great to if you can mention that as well, because if it might be just me, but it may be other people as well. Excuse me. So. All right, so the last question from me, but definitely not least. Shortly before the game was released, an official newsletter listed the planned localizations of the game, and the Polish version of Elite was one of them, and it's been mentioned in that newsletter. And I know that a lot of people from our Polish community mentioned that they purchased the game at the time based on this, because obviously, us coming from post-communist times, English was introduced into schools quite late, so there are some people in the community that cannot speak English, so Polish language in the game would be actually amazing for them to actually enjoy the game much better. And I know that after 6 years it's still not there, and the community is quite disappointed with this, not only about the lack of the localization, but about the lack of any news about it, because every time we ask, the answer to this is it's not like it won't be there, but it's just no news on this. So it's like sort of like we have this hope all the time for the 6 years, but then the answer was never no either.
Yeah, I mean unfortunately that's the case because we know that it is something that you're asking for. I know that we're not ruling it out forever, which is I'm giving you the exact answer you don't want to hear, but we're not ruling it out. But again, I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. Sorry, chat.
It's okay, thanks for telling us this, and thanks for being honest about it as well. But I guess the positive here is that you're not ruling it out. That's great to hear. That's a good thing to hear. But hopefully we'll be able to see it at some point in the future.
It would be cool.
Okay, thanks, Zach. I have also some questions from the community, so we have only like 8 minutes left.
Whatever. Fire away.
I'm just gonna read through them really quickly. I realize
this is where we get to the ones where my answer is almost 95%. Can't say anything. So we can get through these in 8 minutes. For sure.
Yeah, I just realized, and I just wanted to say that to you, chat, as well. Obviously, a lot of these questions are about very specific things about the future of Elite Dangerous, or the changes, or the new content, and we all know that Zach cannot provide his answers probably. So. It is what it is, but I'm going to read them out anyway.
Why not?
From Kuchi, do you have any plans for some sort of program for content creators?
Nothing to announce on that, but we are always on the lookout for content creators that want to get involved with an Elite. We have a great influencer team with Dahlia and Holly and others. So yeah, we are on the lookout. In terms of a program, right now we have nothing to announce, but you can always get in touch.
How can someone get into that influencer?
I mean, you can always message me. I'll put myself forward. You can message me on Discord or on Twitter, or you can email us community@frontier.co.uk.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, from Warjo, have you finally gave in to side scooping?
Absolutely not. Never.
He's still not. Next question, not even going to expand on this. Okay, from Effion, what are the biggest obstacles when it comes to publishing games? I guess this is more about Frontier Foundry.
This is a huge question. I mean, I only have experience in sort of community management, but I worked at a smaller publisher where the obstacles, I guess, are very different than they are at Frontier, which is obviously a much bigger company. In terms of, from my perspective, at a smaller company, the hard part really is getting your game out there when there are so many games that are released every day. It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, but you pretty much always need a huge budget or some kind of budget in order to get yourself noticed if you're a smaller publisher or a smaller game. So that's the hard part from my perspective on that side. On bigger projects, I guess it's more a case of all the moving pieces. It's something that I've found since I joined Frontier from a smaller studio, is that there's just so much going on every day that it's really a key sort of skill is to be able to stay on top of what everyone's doing in all the different departments, especially with COVID and everyone working from home. Like, it is almost impossible in the first few months to really be able to keep track of everything, but as you get used to it, you can kind of pick and choose who you need to speak to on what day and how to keep up with what's happening, etc. But I'm sure people much more experienced than me have better answers to that question, but in my experience, that's the biggest obstacles I find.
Yeah, I can imagine. And with a company like Frontier, when you expanded like quite rapidly into publishing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
you have so many games now. There is Warhammer coming up. There is Lemnis Gate coming up. There is Far Lone Sail, whatever the subtitle is for this. There's the new Far game coming up. Is a Formula
Jurassic
1 game
World
as well? Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Yep.
Formula 1 management game. That's like 5 big, and I mean they're big games. Far is like a bit of a smaller game, but Warhammer, the Formula 1, Jurassic World, all of these games are massive games. So
I mean, how it works, I guess, is we have a lot of community managers, and we are split into different games. So I don't potentially need to focus too heavily on every game that we have. Some people focus on some games, some focus on others. So in terms of our own teams, that's how we manage. But it's also fairly similar throughout the rest of the company.
Yeah. All right, nice one. Next one then is from Angarash. Are there any plans to implement voice commands into the game without the need to use voice attack?
No, not currently.
Not currently. Okay, next one from Dioda. Any plans for new powers? Power play.
I personally would like to see that, but that's spoilers.
Okay. Scanner from Scanner. Is there a chance to add waypoints feature to Root Plotter?
Though, not that I know of, but when I saw this question, I actually thought this is great. So I'm going to make a note of that. I really like that idea.
Excellent, thanks. Next one, also from Scanner. Would it be possible to add more times of background comms in the system? All we ever see is the wedding and top 1% liner.
I would assume it's certainly possible. I don't think there are currently any plans that I've seen of it happening anytime soon, but it's certainly possible.
Next one from Kuchi. When will we be able to get the unknown permits?
Unknown answer. We haven't forgotten about the lock system, so don't worry. We have plans for certain permit locked systems, etc., etc.
Okay, nice. That's good to hear, actually. Any new ships planned from Mastico?
Can't answer.
Can't answer. Mike from McQueen. Any new SRVs planned?
Can't answer.
That's what I thought. From Scanner. Any plans for SRV upgrades and modules?
Can't answer, but I would actually be interested in hearing some ideas for that, for sure.
Excellent. From Chris Maver, any plans for planetary mining?
Cannot answer.
I would love to see that, actually. I remember. I remember in Frontier First Encounters, we could buy these planetary mining machines, and you could plant them like your little personal mine on a planet on a planetary surface, and then come back to collect the goods. That would be actually amazing.
It's a cool idea, for sure.
From Alnitsak, any plans for animated movie in Elite Dangerous universe?
Not that I know of, but this would be super cool.
That's
So
a cool
I'm
idea, isn't it?
100% down for this.
I would dig that, man. I would watch that definitely.
You could definitely get. I would like to be involved. So if we do end up making that, or someone, let me know. I want to be in it.
From Moomin, any plans for multi-platform crossplay?
Can't answer. I don't think there's any plans at the minute for that.
Okay. Another one from Angarash. Is Raxla's story going to be expanded upon in the near future?
What do you think my answer is going to be to this one?
What is Raxla?
Yeah, pretty much redacted is my answer.
Okay. From Lucky Luke, will any Odyssey features in terms of first-person gameplay be used in the ongoing storyline?
I think later down the line, the plan is to integrate some of the first-person gameplay into the story. I think that right now we're aware that some players don't have access to Odyssey, even if they wanted to, which is why we made sure the Azimuth storyline is strictly
Fair enough.
accessible
good
on
point.
ship. But yeah, later on, I would assume we will start dabbling in that.
Great. From Bunson, any plans to expand on Targoid content via the storyline?
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Odyssey plans. From Kuhi, when will Odyssey be released for consoles?
At the minute, we can't really say. Our current focus is on PC development, and then once we're happy with PC development, then we can talk about console.
Sure, so no new updates on this. Okay, excellent. I think that's all we have all the time, what we have for Zac. I have another guest lining up already.
Yeah.
So, Zac, thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
it's
for
a great pleasure.
coming, your own time to this and being
you're doing
here.
a great job.
See you next year, maybe even earlier at some point. Maybe we'll read this as a separate, because I could talk with you for another hour or two.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, thanks.
For having me, chat.
Thanks very much.
No worries.
07 Commander.
07.
Speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.